Hey everybody, welcome to a very special episode of Entrepreneurish. It's your girl Elliot, and we're here with Live Hip Hop Daily each and every Thursday at 7 with the crew Creative Visions. Woo-hoo! And today we have a super special guest. Tony Jones is in the building.
Yay.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So what we're going to do today, we're going to have a conversation about what is affirmation music, and we're going to talk about how you got there. We're going to talk about who you've helped along the way.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about really being an entrepreneur and how you follow your dreams. We were having a short conversation before we started, and her journey is amazing. So you guys stay tuned, okay? You are not going to understand what we're about to bring you because she didn't know. I didn't even know. I didn't know I'd be standing here. I keep realizing that a lot of us end up in the places that we need to be, and I'm loving that. I'm trying to embrace that right now in this season. Mm-hmm. So, all my listeners, I need you to get out your phone right now. I need you to follow at entrepreneur.ish.podcast on Instagram, so that you guys can stay up with clips and everything that I have going on my show. You guys can see who's coming up next week. The month of November, we are doing Friendsgiving. We are having nothing but friendly conversations with people that you voted to see. I put on my page, who do y'all want to come? So we have Two Dope and Liz coming back in the month of November, and it's going to be amazing. These are two of my favorite ladies to chat with. We talk about everything. We laugh. We have the best of times. And we also learn a lot from each other. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to make the stage a little bit more comfier. And we're really going to just have friendly conversations about being an entrepreneur, what it really feels like. You guys already know them, so we don't have to talk about their journey. We could just talk about what they have done in the past 6 months since they've been on the show. And it's a lot. Interviews with Funny Marco, on stage at places. Liz is bringing in millions of dollars, okay? So we are going to talk about what they have done in this month of not in this month of November, since they've been on the show in November. That's what I was trying to say. So we're going to catch up with some friends. And then at the end of the month, I have a surprise. I can't even tell you what the surprise is, but you guys are going to find out, okay? All right, so we're going to get to know Tony now. Thank you for my commercial break. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So my first question, how about this? Let's start with you introducing yourself, because I love to hear how people perceive themselves first before I start asking.
Well, hi, and thank you for having me and sharing me and what I do in the world with your platform. I'm Tony Jones, and I am an affirmation musician, and I help people talk to themselves better through music and word.
How does somebody come up with that? We kind of talked about it briefly, but that was off camera. How does this become?
You know what? Honestly, it was like, I don't know. It was just like I was in prayer feeling like, at that time, entrepreneurship was really hot. You know, becoming an entrepreneur, independent, get to the bag.
Now.
Yeah, it was like, back then it was like really, really a thing. Now I feel like people are more now getting the realistic behind the scenes of what it's like another job, if not more of a job. But anywho, I wanted to have my own little cute business that was thriving, you know, and I felt like all my branding was dope. You know, I had beautiful pictures, I had beautiful branding at that time with my coaching business, but it wasn't profitable. It was just like I was making ends, but so I had a full time working in high schools, and so I was just like, God, I need an idea to help my coaching business. I want to be successful doing what I do, and it just came to me, affirmation music, and I was like, oh my God, and so I Googled it, and I didn't see that term phrase. I was like, I get to do this.
Yeah.
So my intentions were to create an album where women can practice well-being on the go. That's what I wanted. I thought it was so unique to use that as a way to market myself as a life coach through music. And so I had no intentions on starting like a new genre or becoming an artist or performing. I hated the idea of having a mic and knowing the tone and to sing and know what and memorize words. I was like, yuck, you know. Like I repelled that, even when at the time when the person who told me like, no, you have it, you need to start performing, I'm like, no, I'll do listening parties. And they were right. I was like, this is the love of my life. You know, being on the stage, sharing my energy through people, sharing my words, the way I talk to myself. So I don't think I have like a formula like, oh, this is how you cook up an innovative idea. It's like, come from the heart, come raw, and see how much you love it, you know, because that was one of the things for me. I was like, wait, this is the first time I've ever created something without doubt. So I was like, I'm going to stick with this.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and so I closed down my coaching business in the end of 2020, and I've started pursuing affirmation music full time in 2021.
Wow. Okay. You said a lot of gems in a small amount of time. I want to unpack the first thing that I really, really got from that was that you said this is the first thing that you did with no doubt. That is huge. I know a lot of people who start businesses and the first thing that they want to do is like, oh, I'm not sure. So you're saying that probably a good key for you was the fact that you just were going to do this.
I was just going to do it. Like, I felt a feeling. I've only gotten that feeling 2 other times since then, where it was just like, I have to do this. This is like, and I was curious. I was completely curious because I'd never been in a studio, never took like some type of music class, or never even was, you know, it just never appealed to me.
It's like and you saw it on pictures and you're like, yeah, that's cool.
But I got in that studio for the first time and I was like, how do I know how to do this? I was just like completely floored. It made me feel like, what else don't I know about myself? You know, and it made me curious about, well, who else am I? You know, what else is hidden under, you know, under, you know, my ego, or what was taught to me to want in life and pursue in life. So yeah, it's a journey thus far. So
I love that. Okay. So much I want to know. So you didn't have a musical career, and then you said that you just kind of felt it. It just started coming out. Because what I've noticed, I've listened to some of your songs. You have like a chorus, and then your verse might not rhyme, but it's just all affirmations after another. How do you think of these things, and how do you make them into music? Because a lot of people think, okay, maybe it's got to rhyme, maybe it's got to feel a certain way. How'd you come up with your own thing?
Well, my background is psychology, and I'm a neuroscience human behavior nerd. Okay. So I was like, if I'm going to create... Yes. So I was like, if I'm going to create something, I want to create something that's going to really get in the psyche of people, really get into their nervous systems. Because I knew and understood that music has a medicinal legacy. And so I wanted to use music in the way that it was, you know, legendarily known for, which is medicine. So I knew what parts of the brain that I wanted to touch and influence the way that people think of themselves. So I did my nerdy thing, and I had tons of paper, and I created a whole life for each song. And basically, like, if you were to create a character in your mind and you gave that character a whole life, that's what I did with each song. So before I gave it lyrics, before a beat, it was like, it was a title, and I was like, okay, what if this song had a life? And so I gave it a whole life. So that's my process, but I didn't know that much thought had to go into music, but that was my own process I discovered that was so fun. You know, because now that I know the life and the feeling and the vibration of the song, when I hear music or I hear a certain cadence to say over the music, I know, okay, this beat, these words, they match the whole life of the song. So it's just so fun. It's like a whole I become a mad scientist. I'm like, ooh, and this, and this, and this, and then this. You know, it's just a whole story for the whole song. So it's always a brainchild behind the music.
Wow, so you give life every single time you create a song. It's
girl.
Like you're pushing a whole
Those my kids. Those my kids.
Okay, so are you going to pick a favorite kid? I know nobody does that in real life. But
child. You know what's so crazy? I'm working on a project now And I'll have to say that's my favorite song right now. I can't say, but
you can't talk about
I can't talk about it, but that's hands down. Now that I know this song, I can't even mention the other kids. I'm like, this is my favorite.
You're like, no. Okay. Right. I was gonna say, which other ones would you call like honorable mentions?
Take up spaces, of course.
I love that song. I listened to that earlier, and I was like, you know what? I am gonna take up space.
Yeah. Energy Budget and Birthmark.
Okay.
For sure.
Okay, I haven't heard those two, but I definitely heard Take Up Spaces, so I'm gonna hear the other ones too.
Okay.
I saw that you have a lot of songs. How many songs do you have in your catalog?
I think I have about close to 60.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
At least 50, but close to 60.
Wow. Okay, so for my entrepreneurish folks, the people who are wanting to start in the music business, what would you say helps you the most get started and actually get to 60 songs?
That's a real but
this is the question.
Like what? Because I feel like I'm not trying to give a real answer. Mm-hmm. I want to give my honest answer of my experience, because I don't want to give something that's like, well, this is the recipe.
No, this is not what the show is for. Okay, so let me tell you something. This show is for real, and it's your version of it. Okay. And I do that, and I bring different types of people and different types of entrepreneurs on purpose, because I want each person to see themselves. So yes, this is your version of doing it. I've had other artists on here who have their version of doing it. Mm-hmm. But I know somebody is sitting out there watching this episode and going, oh, wow, I see myself in that moment. So even you talking about you creating a story for your song, I do the same thing for my businesses. So I felt a little seen for a moment, because I'd never heard anybody say that they create an entire life for their song or for anything, but I really do that. Yeah. So be yourself. Tell me exactly.
I'll tell you
what you got.
So if you have artists, musicians, anyone who wants to be in the music business, do you love it? Do you enjoy it? And do you know how to regulate your nervous system to go through the ebbs and flows that this calling has you go through for you to master it?
Okay.
Do you know how to regulate your nervous system? Because there's going to be ebbs and flows. It's going to be things that's going to shock you while you're creating your music, what comes up for you. I met a lot of people that have had their heart broken from just being in the music industry, their dreams to be in music, so you have to know how to have those coping skills to regulate your nervous system, to be in entrepreneurship, period.
Period.
Right? But also, I just think, you got to love it. You got to just be like, I feel alive, because I feel like that can help sustain all the nuances of being an artist and being in music, and the contradictions and the complexities of it, the dark side and the light side of being an artist, because it's not what they told us in elementary. It's not just something you do just because you're creative. It's a calling. It's a calling. And when humanity is always going through something, there's some artists that create something. Motown music, John Lennon, Bob Marley. There's always these times where we're going through as the collective human family, going through something, and somebody creates this art. And it just opens up the hearts and people to where we can hope again, and we can be, we can kick it again and be good to each other. Yeah. So you have to feel that way about it. You have to feel like you're called to it, that this is something that you love.
I like that. So do you feel like you do that with each one of your songs? You bring humanity closer to being positive?
That's what's happening. That's what's happening. I'm like watching it happen. Because
what have you seen? Because I know people have music, but they don't really talk about the effects that they've seen it have on others.
Yeah, when I read the comments on YouTube and Instagram and in my DMs.
You've changed lives. I was reading some of those.
Shooken.
And the way people will tell their whole life in a comment, wasn't expecting that, but they do that.
This one lady did this very complex brain surgery, and the surgeon asked her, what music do you want to play? And she said, only Tony Jones music, and don't change it. She played it the whole time while she's under. I'm like, those type of stories. There was something, I wish I remember the country, But this lady emailed me and said she was working with the refugees. And I really want to say the name of the country, but I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah, I understand.
And the staff, the people that were working with the refugees, they were listening to Energy Budget over and over again, so they didn't try and overdo or overserve the refugees. Wow. So they actually put themselves on the Energy Budget to take turns on, like, you'll do this, I'll do this. I'm like reading this email like, what the heck? Shook. So I'm always like, I'm in my real life when Instagram is not on. So I'm not always, I forget sometimes of how
that you have an effect.
That I have an effect on the world, because literally my consciousness is always on Tony. How is she doing? Where is she at? And, you know, so when I go to Instagram, I'm like, wow, I'm really doing this. Like, I have to like really take the eyes off me and really look out into the world and be like, and see myself through their eyes. And I'm just like, I'm her. I get to be her. I am her.
I love that. It's freeing to know that you actually, like, what you're doing has some type of impact. Because I remember starting my show and I only had 6 views. And I used to be like, oh my God, does this matter? Putting in all my effort. I'm crying over this. No one cares.
No one cares. No one cares.
But like, something made me do it. It would be like one person will be like, I watched your show today, and I'd be like, all right, well, I'll do another one.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing that. And then it just got to be, okay, now people are coming to me, oh, when is your next show? What are you doing? Who are you talking to? That type of thing. And now it's like, okay, I do have a voice. I do impact people. So when was your I'm famous moment? When was your people know me? When is your like I move vibrations, I move energy ocean.
You know what? I'm gonna be honest, when you are in dark moments in your life, like in crisis, all you can think about is, how can I like being alive?
Ooh.
So for me, as my career, as my impact was going out into the world, my personal world was crumbling. And that contrast, learning how to dance with that contrast was very hard, you know? And so for me, I didn't really have the luxury of like, I'm doing it, you know? I'll say up to recently, I'm like, wait, I got something. Like, I got something for real. But when your real life is feeling a certain way, you can't really I didn't really have space to enjoy it. I was grateful for it because it was doing something. But personally, my life was, I would have to say, realigning, readjusting, reconstructing to get in alignment with my highest truth, you know, which is to be in service through loving myself first. And so, who has a book for that? How to start a business by loving yourself first. No, I
people coming up with that, I promise you.
I'm sure it'll be out soon, but you know, for me, I'm just like, where do you do that at? Like, just winging it, like recentering myself around my enjoyment and being alive, and decentering capitalism and workaholism from my consciousness and embodiment to be successful in business and in life. So that was, I didn't really have that moment. I feel like if I'm able to articulate it, I would have to say, I just feel a shy feeling, like it's very faint, it's very thin, because I'm detached from it all. Like, when I'm telling you, when you go to dark places and you get in a crisis where you're like, yo, I don't like this place.
Yes.
Like, I don't like it here. You know what I'm saying? It's like all you're trying to seek out is like, how can I genuinely like just being here? You know, drinking some water, you know, doing the mundane things. How can I like it and enjoy the process? And I think that has served me well in the process of my career expanding more and more. I'm not impatient about it. I'm just like, hey, everything will happen when it, you know.
Okay, so you talk to women who are in this workaholism stage.
Yeah.
How do you notice when you're in that stage, and what's your top advice to get out?
Oh, I love this question because it just happened to me.
Okay, good.
So I'm a nomad now. I'm approaching a different lifestyle that's off the beaten path.
Okay.
And Atlanta, Georgia is my first place I nomad to. So I've been here for a few weeks now. And last night I went to a place called the Healing Environment in Smyrna, Georgia, which is not too far. And I walked in. I had a town hall meeting around allyship yesterday. And that was the venue we had it at. And when I walked into the room, the lady who owned it hugged me. And then another lady came up to me and was like, my friend is an intuitive person. She told me to say this to you. And then what she said to me, I was done. I was just completely in tears. I felt my heart open. And what she said to me is what I actually needed. And in that moment, I realized, I've been in survival mode since I've got here. You know, because before I got here, I was living with my family for 3 years. Wow. And that's a whole nother story because I had to put to rest the independent woman who's trying to always do it on her own.
Ooh.
And so,
let's
so
talk
I
about
was,
that.
I was right. So, girl, so it was. Look, I got a lot to say. Okay,
let's talk about
because it's been a whole shit show since I started affirmation music. Like it's came from my whole life, you know.
Fantastic.
So I would say that when I walked in there, receiving that love and receiving how that melted me, I was able to slow it down and say, I'm in survival mode. That's why. I haven't been touched. I haven't been, no massages, no hugs, no affection. I'm an untouched woman right now who's in survival mode. So that is what's happening with me. And so I feel like having the space, the safe space to recognize how you're feeling.
Okay.
Having skilled people that know how to hold safe space for you without you even saying, hey, this is what I need. It's like people, like there was a body therapist there that just came up to me, grabbed my hand and just they were like, yep, I'm going to schedule you for Sunday. Don't worry about paying for it. You've been holding in a lot. So I would encourage women to seek out, open up, call forth safe spaces. There are people out here ready to care for you. I'm a living witness. You know what I'm saying? But you have to let your guard down. You have to be open to go to these spaces to receive probably love you never even thought you could, you know?
First of all, it's just not taught to us. Who knew what a body therapist was? I had never heard that word until you just said it right now. But it sounds like somebody I need to go see.
Yeah, he does touch therapy. So it's more than massage. It's metaphysical.
I just got into sound healing, and I go once a month.
Love that.
And I go downtown. Shout out to Jeremy. We go to Soulful Sound Studio.
Okay, it's a vibe, ain't it?
And it's a black man who owns it, and he knows every bit of everything in there. He changes the energy. He works with shamans.
I love it.
You walk in there, and literally, I've had all my pain go away. I've gone through portals in his space, like. I just feel free, and I invite people all the time, so I'll definitely invite you while you're still here. Because I think that's one of those safe spaces. I didn't know that space existed until I asked for it. I said, man, I really need some healing, but I don't have money for a therapist. What can I do? I met Jeremy the next day, and it was really just like, okay, well, sometimes you just gotta ask. Sometimes you just have to ask. And
seriously.
That was when you were talking about I had to let go of my independent woman. I felt that you hit me in the heart because that's been my journey.
I see the tears.
Yeah, I was like, that's been my journey because it's hard when you are holding up like a whole entire life, and then one day you're just like, you know what? I really don't want to hold this anymore.
Yeah. And
then you watch it all go to shit, and you got to deal with that, and then you have to build up something that you could actually take care of and not something that's draining, something that's good. So what made you drop the independent woman? I know it made me drop mine, but what made you drop yours?
Niggas. Niggas. No, for real though. Like, I just got... Listen.
A relationship won't change your life.
No, seriously.
Good or bad, it won't change your life.
I was literally like, wait a minute. Men are too important to me.
Yes. Where you're like,
they are too important to
nothing
me.
else but that.
Like, I really be like, have this, just remember feeling like I had in my consciousness, like I'm a walking billboard, like, pick me, look, I know how to do this. I know how to do this. I'm wifey material.
That's what they teach
I have
us.
standards, like, pick me. And
I'm
I
better
felt
than
like,
that girl.
I'm better than that girl. I'm different. I'm special. And I'm just like, oh my God, where is this ongoing advertising for a man to choose me? Where the fuck does this come from? I have to get to this hoe and like snatch her out.
Right.
Suck the life out of her. I'm sick of her. Because she messing with my money. She messing with my
don't laugh
everything. Look, no judgment. Listen, get off me. Get off me.
It'd be true though. You'd be like, look, I don't even care about marriage material. I don't fucking care.
Yes, because when the whole I need an independent woman. You know what I'm saying? When that came out, then all of us are like,
and now we need everybody to be submissive. What the fuck? Like 5 years ago, I was supposed to be independent. I just got there.
I can't. I'm retired.
Now I have to soft life all day. Which one do you want? Do you want a soft girl or do you want a hard independent woman? Which one do y'all want? You don't even know.
But it's not even about. Me. But see, it's not even about what they want. It's like, what do I want?
Yes,
what do I want? What do I want without the programming of what the world, what religion, what my family taught me to want? What do I want to pursue that I wasn't taught to pursue? You know, affirmation music taught me that I don't know everything. I don't know everything about me. Yeah. There's maybe more things about me to love that I don't even know yet. And so how can I dive in to that discovery, that quest, to figure out what can I love about me? What can I like about me? What can I discover about myself that just gets me going? Like, girl, I love you. I got to take care of you. And so for me, like, putting an independent woman to rest was getting rid of the house, getting rid of the responsibilities, getting rid of 80% of my belongings, my attachment to them, and see how I can humble myself to discover what this affirmation music thing is, regulate my nervous system to not, so I can have better coping life skills, because no one taught me coping skills. I was taught, believe in Jesus so you don't go to hell, stay a virgin till you get married and get good grades. That was not how. Great foundation, but it wasn't fully.
There's more going on in my life.
There's more going on. I need to know how to navigate. Where's the toolbox?
So what happened?
Out of all the adults, y'all didn't tell me nothing. So for me,
my aunts didn't tell me anything until after I went through stuff. And I hated them for that. I was like, y'all waited until my face in the fucking dirt before I got any type of life advice. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So I would say, like, that process of, like, the way I was personally betraying myself to be chosen by men, and a lot of my drive was to be independent, was to look like I had it together. And so... yeah, so I was just like, I'm done with that, because when I'm my most vulnerable, no one's around. When I'm the one that don't want to heal and don't have any advice to give anybody, no one's around. Yeah. So I have to really show up for myself. So for me, it was like, I give up the show. I give up. And it wasn't like a one decision. It was a journey. Because I spent years and years in being conditioned to care about what the world thinks. So it was just like, this has to end, because I'm going to die. I'm going to get sick. I'm going to die. Something's going to happen to me if I don't choose me over and over and over and over again. So the independent woman, she had to go, because she was driven by wounds and wanting to belong and be accepted. So,
okay. I love that. So let's talk about you being a nomad, because you said that's you stepping into a new version of yourself again. Define nomadicism for people who don't really know, and then tell us how Atlanta became your first stop.
We's homeless. We is home. No, we being a nomad.
But kinda.
But
It's like homeless on purpose.
Period. That's it. Enough said.
I'm making a t-shirt.
Homeless on purpose. That is listen, when you make it, you gotta give me one.
Okay, I will. See,
I will wear that.
Another business here at Entrepreneur.
Yes. What was your question?
I how do you define nomadicism?
Okay.
And then I was saying, how did Atlanta become your first stop?
Well,
I'm glad I remember it because y'all last week I did not remember.
Right. I would say homeless on purpose, for real.
Yeah.
But it's not really you're homeless. You're literally just going to places that are not like a permanent address. You don't have a permanent address. You just kind of go where you're welcome. You know, so their options are like artist residencies.
Okay.
Some people have homes that are built, you know, specifically for nomads. They also have this thing called couch surfing,
Okay.
and it's an app, and you can all over the world where you can fly in. It's an extensive process to go through to get into the app.
Do you have to be like qualified?
You have to background checks,
Okay.
all those type of things.
Okay.
So, you know, they take a lot of security precautions and so on.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna hang out
Right?
with a stranger.
So, right, on their couch. Yikes.
Ooh.
I'm not on the app, so no. So my intentions were and are to go to cities that support my music the most,
Okay.
and create kind of like a family type environment with the people that support my music. Identify who's open to lodge me. Either I stay in their home or they pay for an Airbnb for the month, and I do an event with them.
Oh, wow.
So some type of way we can barter, or I promote your business on my platform. Some type of way where we can create a different type of currency outside of just money. Not that we're excluding money out the picture.
Yeah, like,
but I'm not trying to pay
too.
rent. I'm not trying to pay rent. I'm not trying to pay mortgage. That's just not my season right now. That is not appetizing for me.
Okay.
I want to create community around what I'm doing, and I want to trust God and God's people to take care of me while I do that.
Okay, so you name couchsurfing. What's a Atlanta specific resource for anybody who's looking to become a nomad here?
I would say the healing community.
Okay.
Number one, people are willing to help. People, you know, I have a platform, so it's a little different for me.
Yeah.
But I would definitely say be open to who you know, who knows other people, who knows other people, and tap into the yoga community, the wellness community, the
Okay.
conscious spiritual community.
The nice people, y'all.
The nice people, especially. And here, I would say the hub for that is the healing environment, the Zen Bar. It's a great place as well. They have the best smoothies on the planet.
Okay.
No exaggeration.
Okay.
Anybody I ever take there, they end up saying the same thing. They were like, "Oh my God,
What
you
side
really."
of town is this on?
I believe it's West End,
Okay.
near the collegiate areas. Yeah.
Okay.
So, so I would say that the healing environment and the Zen Bar will be like great opportunities to create community around approaching the nomadic lifestyle.
Okay. How'd your family take you saying that you were going to be a nomad? Did they care?
And
They really
took.
just like...
And they took it. And they just took it. It wasn't, I didn't leave
Like,
any.
I don't need your permission.
Yeah.
But,
Look, I didn't leave any room for anybody to have opinion. They found out 3 days before I left.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's not about being insensitive,
Yeah.
but when you know the level of I don't want to overcomplicate this statement, but it's when you know where people are and how they're not present in your life, not interested, not curious, not invested. It's like I don't give you the privilege to have an opinion about what I'm doing with my life and what my truth is, you know. And so I don't have kids, I'm not married, so I get to be like, I'm out,
Yeah.
and that's it. End of story.
I like that.
So
I feel that way sometimes too. It's like, look, unless you are willing to pay a bill, get out of my business.
and it's that.
This is really it. You can say whatever you want to, but I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do at the end of the day. I've had friends not enjoy me because of that. Has that happened to you, where it's been like, oh, I tell her to do, like, you know, you sit down, you have your wine night, you give your advice or whatever, and then I do the complete opposite. They get mad at me. Does that happen to you?
Where I'm telling them,
Like, where I'm like, hey, I'm having this issue, and then they give me some advice, and then I do exactly what I was gonna do anyway.
so do I do that?
Yeah.
Or, I don't.
Do you even ask for advice anymore? Are you at a point where you just
No.
fully believing in yourself?
I don't really ask. I ask questions.
Okay.
I ask questions, meaning like I'm curious, not more so not want to know something, but just kind of want to see what their perspective is.
Okay.
But I'm not taking it in like a data point to reference too much, you know. Not to say that that's something bad to do. It's just I'm at a space where I'm like really understanding how important it is to zero in on how you think about you, how you perceive and process things. I'm not resistant to advice or, you know, insight and feedback. It's just that's not something I intrinsically am motivated by.
Okay. Okay. I asked that because, you know, we all have bossies, which are boss besties, which are people who help us out with things. I know for me, I talk to people all the time about if I'm going through something with my business or I'm looking for a new path, I ask them for ideas. Sometimes my friends think of me bigger than I think of myself, so they kind of help me think in that bigger space. Do you have anybody like that? Do you have a bossy?
Yes, I do have a bossy. Her name is Christina.
Okay, shout out to Christina.
And she inspires me so much. I have never met anybody inspired. Like, it's like I feel like I didn't even know that someone could inspire me so much. And it's because I'm always inspired by humanity. I'm not really inspired by what you do. It's like who you're being in your own life, how authentic you are, how you treat your own life. And because that's the path I'm on, like I'm constantly wanting to initiate and enroll myself over and over again. How can I like my life? How can I enjoy this more?
That's the question.
You know, that's what I lead with. You know, how can I play more and just enjoy being alive? And so she does it so well. You know, she's from Newark, and she left Brooklyn, New York, and moved to Mexico. She's been there for 9 months, and she read a book, and I'm reading the book now too, called Rest is Resistance, and it is, listen,
all right,
the book.
Zoom in.
Men, women, get the book, Rest is Resistance.
Okay.
It's going
I'm writing it down.
You're not going to regret. I think it is the antidote for these times right now. It will make so much clear for who you need to be to yourself right now. Okay. It just helps you detach from doing. You know that you wake up in the morning. I have this song called Talk to Me Nice, and it's all about how you talk to yourself as soon as you wake up in the morning. You're like immediately bombarded with what you got to do. Yeah. You're not even waking up. It's like you're immediately going. It's like
alarm. My alarm is on for a reason. Let's get the reasons out the way.
Yeah. So that book really helped me, and I had the book for a while, but she was reading it. It helped her transition into a new lifestyle that was completely different from Brooklyn, New York. And she just learned how to rest. She learned to have fun. She learned to center even exercise, her relationship with food and fitness, and her business and laptop activity. She learned how to do that in enjoyment. Not because, oh, this is a job, I got to be healthy. She was like, if the workout don't feel good and I'm not enjoying it, I'm not doing it. So it was like she centered her whole life around fun, and that just completely inspired me because that's the type of businesswoman I want to be. When I'm interviewed, people are like, who do you look up to? And they say all these big names, these billionaire names. I'm like, yo, I don't know nobody I'm inspired to out there because they're a slave to their business, you know, and I don't want that. No, I want to feel alive. I want freedom. I want freedom. That's what I want. And so you got to do that first within, right? So I would say my bossy is definitely Christina because she inspires my humanity. She inspires me to live by being, not just doing.
So what do you look for in people now that you're in this space of positivity? You're living your life how you want to do it. How do you find people to be a part of their journey? What are you looking for characteristic-wise?
Just in, like, community or
to be a part of, to do business with you, to just take up your space, like to be in your environment. What do they have
I'm gonna give a realist answer. Like,
I need to know.
Like, I want to know how much therapy. Like, have you been in therapy? What's your emotional management looking like? Like in my inner
real
circle.
Questions. Yeah,
like in my inner circle.
These are like,
Cause I'm really good at relating to people and creating like that cousin energy vibe, but you never know if you're in my inner circle or not until you do, you know, because I'm paying attention on a whole nother level. And it's like, do you really fuck with you? Do you really? Because I can smell insecurity a planet away. You know, it's easy to spot. So for me, I'm looking for not perfection. I'm looking for someone who has an actual relationship with themselves. You know, on a spiritual, deep plane. You know, like how much you know your demons. Like how much do you know what drives you, what you love. Like how, you know, that's all I need to know. How involved are you in your self mastery? Because that way I know what type of skill sets you have to relate to me. Because you got to come, just like when you go to NBA or any sport, somebody got to be in the gym practicing. Yeah. And if you ain't practicing in the gym of your relationship with yourself, you damn near not going to do it with me. You're not.
Please don't play with me.
Relationship is a real skill set, but they ain't teach us that.
That's true.
You know, it takes skills, just like any other practice and gift and skill, and you know, so yeah, that you have to be involved in a relationship with you, and you have to be involved in some self mastery. It's just the way it is. I wanted to have everybody, you know, but I'm like that nearly destroyed me, you know.
So was life coaching? First of all, what's your sign?
I'm an Aries.
Okay.
Sun. Okay. Capricorn rising and Aquarius moon.
Okay. All right. Because I'm a Cancer, and you're saying a lot of things that are very similar, and I'm like, okay. But I've never stepped outside of. I've never had like air friends. I've always had like fire or earth friends.
Okay.
I've never come across that. So I was like, I like this. I like how you deal with life. It's a little bit more flowy. Like I'm noticing a lot of people are very rigid in how they need their life to go, and if it doesn't go that way, either they spend their whole life making sure it goes that way for them to be okay, or if something goes wrong, they're like disheveled and they're a completely
Well, I think
different person.
have you heard of human design?
Mm-mm.
Okay, human design. Google it.
Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna have so much fun in this. You Google it. You're gonna have fun in that rabbit hole.
Okay.
It's basically, you know how you get instructions and instructional manuals with everything in life, even bobby pins.
Yeah.
Human design is basically the instructional manual to being yourself.
Okay.
Like, check it out. But I would like to say zodiac. You know your zodiac signs and placements and all that stuff. It's like you get it's your curriculum. It's your school. But it's not all that you are. Your consciousness, your pure consciousness of being aware of yourself is who you truly are. And you just use your zodiac, your human identity, your cosmic identity as a guidance tool to know who you are on a human plane level, you know, if that makes any sense.
It does.
But it's not something to be like, oh, this is who I am. You can always transcend your, you know, cosmic character, your zodiac characteristics through consciousness, making different decisions, you know.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, especially men, are like, that's your excuse for being a bitch. And so they're like, a lot of people don't like people saying, oh, I do this because of my zodiac sign.
Yeah,
because
it's not fixed.
Yeah. And I think the same way there's set personalities, like we're all like copies of the same personality.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the same thing. So I feel like like you said, it's guidelines. It's
Absolutely.
so that you know where this person is coming from. You kind of understand, like, okay.
You get some insight on what their school is, you know?
And then see, have they learned from that? Have they learned how to control that impulse, or are they still in another place? For you, how do you balance, like you said, you had to balance being in low places while influencing people at the same time. How are you balancing that now? Because you said that you were learning, and so how do you feel now that you're
You know what? I pray a lot. I pray a lot. And you know how we treat talking? Like, everybody's always talking. You know, you're saying something. That's how I treat prayer. Like, whenever I'm always praying. And so, and that requires me to be very honest with what I'm feeling, about what I want, what I need, what I'm afraid of, what I care about, what I desire. And so one of the things that I do is I pray for the people that are aligned with me. I always say, like, from the north, south, east, and west, I call forth those who are aligned with my highest frequency as love to support and care for me unapologetically with enthusiasm. And I call forth that, and I get that. So because I don't believe I can do this alone. I don't think anybody can be their big energy, main character energy by themselves. You need community. You need that ecosystem to hold you up, especially in a world that is always brainwashing you and, seducing you into insecurity, self-doubt, not believing in yourself, being afraid of all of life, being afraid of yourself, to trust in your, I can go on and on and on.
It's true.
So it's like, I feel like you need other people to say, I see you. What you need, that care. Yeah. So I would say right now for me, that's helping me to be balanced in that those ebbs and flows of highs and lows. I would say just knowing I'm worthy of the people to care for me. Okay. That caring for myself, pursuing my dreams, loving myself is not a one-woman job. It requires other people to see me and, be an expression of that type of love that I have for myself, So that right now is my truest currency right now.
I love that.
Having good people.
I love that. All right, that is the point of having bosses, y'all. Like,
yes.
It gets you through some things.
Yes,
okay, so we're coming towards the end of this episode.
Okay.
I wanted you to let people know about your performance that you have going on and some of the discounts that you were telling me about.
Yes, the Garden of Hip Hop. So the Garden of Hip Hop is an event that I'll be performing at on 11/11 from 2 to 7. It will be at the... oh, goodness, I forgot. The Atlanta
Bonfire. Right?
Bonfire,
yep.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm new here, y'all.
It's all right. We don't know half these places either. You saw Keith Lee coming here, and everybody was like, oh, my God.
Yeah.
He's going to expose Atlanta. He did. We're a hot mess down.
So I'll be performing a couple of songs there. And then I have an opportunity for those of you who want to collaborate and create space for others. So whether that is a sacred circle of conversation, food, vibing, me doing an affirmation meditation, I have space to create some events with. And even if it's in your living room, when you have invite like maybe 10 to 20 people, or you're opening up a business and you want someone to open up with like a mindful practice and close the event with a mindful practice because you launched a business. I'm leaving it very much some room for people to reimagine what it looks like to bring what I do into their space, and I'm doing a discount rate of $1,000 to collaborate and create space for others.
That's amazing. So you guys, if you are looking for like you said, affirmation music to take over your event, please talk to Toni. She's here.
The link is in my bio on Instagram. I am Toni Jones. Toni with the I.
Yes, with an I. Is there anything else you want to shout out before we go? Please let everybody know where else they can find you. What's the name of your website? Where are you on Spotify? All that type of stuff.
You can find me on Instagram. I am Toni Jones. My website is iamtonijones.com. You can also find me on YouTube, Toni Jones, Toni. Google me. No, for real. You can find me on Google website. I am Toni Jones, and you'll find out all the things of what I'm doing right now.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on
this episode of Entrepreneurs.
This was fun. I'm glad you got to come. I held in my tears, guys. I did a great job. Well, thank you for watching this episode of Entrepreneurs. We're here on Live Hip Hop Daily each and every Thursday at 7. We have another episode coming right after this one, so you guys stay tuned, and we'll see you next time. Bye.